Hi guys, welcome back to Beautifully Bookish Bethany, where I have new videos every week about books and the geeky mom lifestyle. You can subscribe for more bookish content, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified every time I release a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my April TBR. We're going to go over some of the things that I have on my radar for the month. As always, this is subject to change. More things may come onto my plate. I may read other things. I am a little bit of a mood reader, so I do kind of a mix of reading things I'm supposed to read for review, things that I just feel like reading, or things that come in from my library. And especially given the current global situation, it's hard to know exactly what this month is going to look like, but this should give you a little bit of an idea of some of the things you can hopefully expect from me in the coming months. As always, first up is the book club pick for my Patreon book club. Every month, my patrons get to vote on a book that we buddy read together in a private book club, which is super fun, and every month we have a different theme. For April, the theme was epic high fantasy, and the book that we have chosen to read is Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. This has been on my radar for a while, and it's one that I've kept kind of pushing off, even though I really want to read it. It came out recently. It is a debut adult high fantasy novel, and the way it's been pitched is sort of like Lord of the Rings if Frodo died and Samwise Gamgee had to carry on with the quest. Obviously, it's got its own story and its own characters, but that's the general idea, is this sort of unexpected hero having to complete a quest, and that sounds really interesting to me. So I'm excited to pick this one up. This is going to be our buddy read pick for the month. If you are interested in joining in, the link is always down below. Thank you so much to all of my patrons for your support, and a special shout out goes to my patrons at the new release hardcover level and above, currently including Trina from Bookish Trina, Sydney from Sydney's Stories, Ashley from Books with Ashley, and Jillian from Jillian's Book Chatter. All of you are amazing, and your support truly means the world to me. Next up, every month my patrons are entered into a raffle, and one person gets to select a book they want to see me read and review in the coming month. This month, the winner was Jessica from Jessica Williamson, and the book that she selected for me to read is The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ankrum. I'm actually really excited about this. This is another one that has been sitting on my TBR for a while. I've been wanting to get to it. I know this is one of Julie from Pages and Pens' favorite books, and I read The Wicker King by the same author last year and really loved it, and this is loosely tied to that. It's set in the future. It has more of a sci-fi feel to it. I know that it includes queer characters and something about training to go to outer space, something like that. I've heard nothing but good things about it, and it's one that I've been like meaning to pick up and just haven't gotten around to, so thanks to Jessica, I will be reading and reviewing this month, which I am very excited about. Another book that I'm planning on reading this month is one that I am about to get off a hold for the audiobook from my library, and this is Senlin Ascends by Josiah Bancroft. This is another one that I have added to my TBR because of booktubers. Holly from Holly Hearts Books and Melanie from Mel to the Any both really loved this. This was actually also on the poll for the month. We ended up going with Fate of the Fallen, but I want to read this, so I'm going to read this one as well. And I'm really excited about it. It sounds really interesting and kind of unique. It follows a mild-mannered headmaster who enjoys being in his books, but soon after his marriage, he loses his bride on the honeymoon of their dreams. So to find her and get her back, he has to enter the Tower of Babel, a world of geniuses and tyrants, of luxury and menace, of unusual animals and mysterious machines. He must endure betrayal, assassination, attempts, and the illusions of the tower if he ever hopes to see his wife again. The quiet man must become a man of action. This sounds really interesting, and Mark Lawrence blurbed it on the front saying it's one of his favorite books of all time. So if that is not high praise, I don't know what is. Yeah, so I know so far I think there's 3 or 4 books in the series, and I'm really excited to give this one a try. I don't have physical copies with me at the moment, but I'm also hoping to read a couple of books for the BookTube SFF Awards. Recursion by Blake Crouch is one that I'm hoping to get to, and then also, what is the other one? I can't think of it right now. I'll put a picture right here of the other book. It's one of the other sci-fi and debut picks for the BookTube SFF Awards. Why can't I think of it? Something by Arcady something. Oh my gosh, guys. I can't think of it, but something Empire? Something Empire. Whatever. The picture is there. This is the one that I am hoping to also pick up in April. Then I have a whole bunch of ARCs. I do have e-ARCs on NetGalley, which I guess I could go over some of those and tell you some of the ones that I'm hoping to read in April. And then I have some physical ones. Some that were on my TBR from last month that are getting rolled over to this month. I mean, as usual, for sure, especially with everything going on in March, I definitely did not get to everything I was hoping to get to, but that is okay. And then I have some new ones to add to the list as well. In terms of books being rolled over, I won't go into too much detail, but some of the ones I'm hoping to get to are The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This one is supposed to come out on April 7th. It is a horror novel that is own voices for Native American representation, and the premise just sounded really interesting, so I have that one. Another horror novel, and this one is a debut that just came out, I think, is The Return by Rachel Harrison. And this involves women reconnecting after a long time, and I don't know, it sounds really interesting. This one just came out. I was hoping to get to it before release date. Obviously, that did not happen. So maybe I can get to it in April. Ray Bearer by Jordan Efuego, which I've actually been seeing some rave reviews by other bloggers and booktubers recently. So I'm really excited about this. This is an African-inspired YA fantasy. It's a debut, and it's coming out from Amulet, which is with Abrams, so from a slightly smaller publisher, but I'm hearing really good things about it, so I'm much more excited to pick it up. I mean, I already knew that I wanted to try it, but hearing some of the reviews just makes me that much more excited. And then also Girls Save the World in this one by Ash Parsons, another April release that sounds so up my alley. It's about a group of girlfriends who go to a zombie convention, and then actual zombies start to invade and they have to like save the world. So that sounds like a whole lot of fun. So yeah, those were all on my March TBR. Did not get to them. I'm hoping to get to them in April instead. Then for some new additions, I have a nonfiction graphic novel. This is Fire on the Water by Scott McGregor, illustrated by Gary Dunn. This is going on sale in May, also coming out through Abrams. And this sounded interesting. Like I said, it is a graphic novel, so it probably wouldn't take too long to read, but it follows the lives of blue-collar workers involved in the real-life Lake Erie tunnel disaster in 1916. It says it sheds light on one of America's earliest man-made ecological disasters, but also on racism and the economic disparity of classes in the Midwest. So all of that sounds super fascinating to me. I'm hoping to pick this up. And again, I tend to like nonfiction in graphic format. I think it tends to work pretty well, and I'm curious to see how I do with that one. Another one I'm really excited about that's gotten a lot of buzz and I've been meaning to pick up for a while, and I'm hoping to definitely do this in April, is a debut May release. This is Stealing Thunder by Alina Boyden. It's a debut adult fantasy story about a trans princess. It is own voices for the trans women representation, and the plot of this just sounded very interesting. Peter V. Brett blurbed it and said, "Dragons, politics, and a kick-ass trans protagonist. Stealing Thunder really has it all." So yeah, this one's coming out through Ace Books, supposedly May 12th, unless that has changed. I know some release dates have been pushed back recently, but this is one that I'm definitely interested in picking up. Then I have another May release that is coming out through Swoon Reads, and this was sent to me by Fierce Reads, which is the Macmillan sort of YA group. This is The Dark In-Between by Elizabeth Hribb. And the cover is pretty stunning. This one sounds interesting. It deals with grief and death and has a dark romance involving, I think, like an angel or a demon. I think like angels and demons are coming back, guys. And this one sounds like it's probably going to be very melodramatic with a dark romance, which sounds like it could be a good time. So hoping to pick that one up in April. Then another book going on sale in May is a work of translated fiction, and the arc of this was sent to me by my friends over at World Editions. This sounded really interesting to me. It's called Disoriented by Amin Malouf. It's written by an author who's originally from Beirut but has lived in France for a long time. And this follows a man who had been exiled to France 25 years earlier when he suddenly gets a call in the middle of the night that his childhood best friend is dying. And so he goes back to his home country to try to reconnect with him, and his past kind of catches up with him. And so it's dealing with identity and dislocation. And yeah, this just sounded super interesting to me. So I've got that on the docket. And then finally, and perhaps most excitingly, this one isn't coming out until June, but I think I'm probably going to pick it up in April just because it's going to make me super happy, and we all need a little bit of that joy in our lives right now. I have an arc that was sent to me from Quirk Books. This is Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. I'm so excited that I have this, you guys. So this is the third book in the series that started with Geekerella. I have loved both of the other two books in the series. They are geeky fairy tale retellings set around a convention, and this one, of course, is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. I am so here for it. I don't even need to know anything else about it. I just love everything that she writes. They're funny. They have lots of geeky pop culture references if you enjoy that. They're just really fun, feel-good books, and so I am definitely excited to pick this one up very soon. And then finally, I don't always do this, but I thought I would share some of the e-arcs that I currently have on my radar from NetGalley, because I'm always kind of reading some of those. I don't have descriptions of all of these with me, so you're gonna have to kind of bear with me. I may not have a lot of detail on all of these, but some of the ones that I'm hoping to get to in April. First up, I have Heiress for Hire by Madeline Hunter. This one I think actually is coming out in April, and it was a historical romance that sounded like a whole lot of fun. I don't remember the details on it, but I know it had some tropes that I really enjoy, so I'm hoping to give that one a shot. I haven't read anything from Madeline Hunter before. Also planning on picking up Lobizona by Romina Garber, which I've heard amazing things about from my friend Jocelyn over at Yogi with a Book. This is, I think, a debut YA fantasy. It is own voices for Latinx representation, and it sounds really interesting. It uses magical realism and fantastical urban fantasy elements to deal with issues of immigration and racism. So this sounds great. She loved it. I'm hoping that I will as well, so I'm planning on reading that one pretty soon. I was also super thrilled when a publicist reached out to me about reading the sequel to Burn the Dark by S.A. Hunt, which is I Come with Knives. I think it's just a duology, and I loved the first one, so I'm very excited to pick up the sequel. I also have an arc of a new Sarah Morgan book. This is Family for Beginners. This is one where I'm not sure what the plot is off the top of my head. I just know it's another women's fiction from Sarah Morgan, and I love Sarah Morgan. Her characterization is so amazing. She writes these incredible, relatable characters that feel true to life and writes great sort of family relationships. So I don't really need to know what it's about. I'm excited to pick it up. I've also got an e-arc for Real Men Knit by Kawana Jackson, which sounds like a whole lot of fun. It's a new romantic comedy. It is own voices for the African-American representation, and it features men who knit, and I think run a knitting store or something like that, which just sounds so great. I tend to enjoy those sorts of romances with like sweet sort of cinnamon roll characters and things that subvert gendered expectations. So that seems like it's gonna be a good time. And then the last one I'll mention here is a YA contemporary debut. This is Date Me, Bryson Keller by Kevin Van Wy. I wanna say this one is coming out in May, and somebody told me that they think it's a retelling of a manga series. It's about a popular boy in high school who takes this bet where every Monday, the first person who asks him out, he will date for a week. And so there's a gay boy who's always had a crush on him who decides to take a chance and ask him out. And he's straight, right? So it's not really gonna happen, but maybe that's not so true. And it sounds like it could be cute. It could be a fun rom-com depending on the way that it's handled. So those are some of the NetGalley books that I am probably going to be picking up in April. Like I said, much of this is subject to change depending on how things go in the coming month, but this should give you some idea of a lot of the things that are on my radar. Some exciting things and hopefully some stuff that will brighten the days that I am home with small children and my husband, and you know, the world is just a wild place, especially living in New York City. Yeah, but this is my TBR for April. Hopefully it goes well. Hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on any of the books that I talked about today. And for your question of the day, tell me something that you're reading that has been bringing you joy, especially in the middle of a very anxious, anxiety-producing time. We all need things that are bringing us joy, so tell me what has been doing that for you. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.